Well, we're going to be doing something very soon that I never actually really do, and it's me quitting the game. No, just kidding. I'm not quitting the game. But we're going to do something we don't typically do. Every time there's a new workshop of Brilliant Light, they always run that campaign where people, the first clears, like first, 1,000, 3,000, 6,000, whatever the number is, you know, they get the reward for that, all that fun stuff. I've actually never attempted to push for that. And I don't have as stacked of account as a lot of other YouTubers on the platform. I spend a little bit. I really don't spend all that much, certainly not a comparable number to a lot of other creators. I also don't play as much or as well as other players, so that's something I'm fully aware of, right? I'm not, and it's no shame against me. I feel perfectly fine with that. People are better than me. I'm not the best at the game, but I do enjoy it, and that's why I keep coming back for more. All right, so somebody left me a comment and they said, you know, I wanted to see if you could push and try to be somebody that hits that. So we are going to go for it, I think, this time. So today we're going to go over my checklist of things that I will be working on to try to accomplish said goal. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Let's go ahead and dive in while we're just staring at Cha and we're getting side action for Cha, all that fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. That being said, so firstly, my very first thing I'm going to be doing and working on doing is pushing my characters up to level 110. That's not going to be very hard. It's a passive thing. Obviously, that's just how leveling and gaining experience in this game is. It's just something that you get over time. So by then, I'm not really worried about this. That's like the easiest thing to do. Just got to play over the course of a couple, I guess like a week, and I should be fine. All right. So aside from that, I've already got my characters. And for the record, I'm going to be worrying and working on the water team specifically. I did hear people say that the wind team works pretty good. I also had some speculation or heard some speculation that, you know, the wind team is going to be getting that, I believe, Leonard character. I believe. I don't know much about him. I haven't checked out the recent stream if they did anything about him or covered him at all. So there's that. But I am curious about what he's going to do and if he is a wind character, particularly a wind DPS, and if he impacts that team. But I'm working on the water team, so we're going to be using Cha, we're going to be using Serin, and we're going to be using Mei Lin, who is down here because I just alternated some of her gear around. So there's that. We're going to be pushing all the characters up to max level is the first objective. Next, we're going to be working on getting the levels of their weapons up to 120 as well. Obviously, that's just min-maxing stuff that you should be trying to do anyway. Since I don't really spend a ton, I typically am one to spread my resources out as much as possible and wait for an opportune time to put my stuff into characters and things like that. So I will be working on that. I don't actually have a lot of leveling stuff, but by then I should be fine. It's not the hardest thing to do. We are also going to be pushing the investment here for red. I could probably do it now. Yeah, we'll just quick craft because why not? We're going to be using her. And if I ever find myself not needing her, I can just reset her and get that stuff back. There you go, Mei Lin. I hope you enjoyed that quick little power boost. A whole 6,000 power. All right, so aside from that, I don't know what that was. Aside from that, another thing we're going to be doing is when the Sung Jinu weapon comes out, we're actually going to be doubling in that opportunity to try to get more limit breaks on the water hunters as well. I could push a little more for Cha. I really don't want to because at that point I would pretty much have to buy it, and I actually had to buy her last dupe basically, so that worked out pretty well, I guess, but I don't really want to. But aside from that, what are we going to be putting in here for this? So we're going to have the new water scythe. So there's that. Like, that's just like a placeholder, right? I'm going to push for that fifth one because why not? She's literally right there, right? And Serin is not in here now. So that's where it's a little bit tricky. Serin she could potentially be added before that stage is added. I'm not really sure. But in the meantime, I do need to have something here anyway. And so what I would put here, it would be a wind weapon. I don't need the daggers. That would be Stormbringer. So that's what we're going to be going for now. And then when Serin is added, I will be taking off something else. And again, that Dark Scythe is just a placeholder, but we're not really worried about that. It would be nice to get more limit breaks in Thetis' Grimoire as well. However, I believe I do have that one at 120. And if not, I believe I just pushed it to 120. So I'm pretty sure. But if not, that's another one I will be working on as well. So all those characters also are going to need optimal gear, of course. That's another layer of it too. So the gear, it's one thing, but it's one thing to have the gear, but it's another thing to have the high level gear or reforged up to 100 with the right stuff on the characters and all that stuff. So there's a lot of min-maxing that goes into that. I'm going to be worrying about that, and then also enhancing the gear, all this other stuff that kind of lends itself to producing more power for the character, because that's a big thing too, is like you need to have as much power as possible to get out of, you know, the red if possible. So I don't know the number on it. I'd assume it's going to be like 1.5 ish, 1.6 ish. They may be pushing it, and that's going to be kind of hard to deal with when it's the non-Sung Jinu as well, but we'll see what happens. So we're going to be worrying on that and working on that. So worrying about the gear, pushing the optimal and min-maxing that if possible, and going from there. And also I've mostly talked about like the girls. I haven't really talked much about Sung or anything else. So here's a couple of other minor things that I'm going to be doing and working on. Remnant Power, I actually started really farming this a little bit late, so I'm not done. I'm going to try to finish off Baron max level. I didn't see anything different in Yogumunt. If he does something like super different, please let me know. If that's the case, then I'll start heavy investing here. Like, I'm still clearing the content and getting stuff. I just haven't really worried about it yet, because I'm just saving it, and I'll invest it at some point and go from there. Like, there's no reason to save it. It's not like it can be used elsewhere, but I'm just not really worrying about it. Shadows. I haven't decided, and maybe another YouTuber like Payne or somebody has decided what the best shadow is. So if that's the case, let me know. I've been out of tune with that. Haven't decided on what I think the best shadow is for the water team yet. I mean, I've fiddled with multiple. I've used Egress, I've used Tusk, I've used Tank, I've used Big Rock. I think that's all of them, but I've tried 3 or 4 different lead shadows, and either way I'm able to beat the content. Either way we're able to beat normal Yogumunt without, it doesn't really matter, right? Especially when you start getting the blessings on, like, it kind of just doesn't really matter a ton. I felt really comfortable with Tank on. I felt like Cha was doing a really, really good amount of damage with Tank on, so there's that. But I will be working on my shadows, of course, bringing up their overall total power. And then whichever shadows I decide to take in, I'll be worrying about, you know, getting them upgraded, maybe enhancing their armaments more if they're a shadow that I will be taking in, of course, as well. A lot of people like to go with the lead and then go with blades and egress to do the attack increases and the bleeds and all that other stuff. I'm not sure if that's the route I take. I typically like to opt for more support-based shadows. Like, I would probably take Serbi and Iron for the defense down. So I feel like Iron's probably a lock. The problem with investing in Iron is that I don't use him in any Sung Jinu content. I only use it in team fight stuff. So there's that. But I will be working on my shadows and getting them stronger, of course, because I will need them to be as strong as possible as well. For Sung. So Sung, actually, low-key, so the Sung Jinu stuff is largely the same. It's largely the same as all the girls, right? Like, you need to get optimal gear. You need to have max level on him. You need to have max level on the weapons. Like, it's not, and dupes in the weapons if possible and stuff. I guess it's a little bit different because you don't get dupes on Sung. Could you imagine if you could get dupes in Sung Jinu? Anyway, you just need the dupes in the characters to unlock all their passives. It's a little bit different where Sung is like, okay, what skills are you going to invest in? And so for him right now, since I'm mostly using wind, I typically am skewing more towards that, or I'll every now and again use this, but I stopped using it due to the rarity. But I will for sure wind up using the sonic stream here quite a bit. Flow of the Wind is pretty powerful. But since we're going to be shifting to water, I do wonder if there's a need to switch as well alongside that. What does this do? When the skill hits, it applies Frostbite and also increases damage dealt by targets to 7%. Dealt by 7% to targets within a 5-meter range. I hate when the game does the range thing. It's like, okay, well, what's 5 meters? Like, if I didn't know what that is, like in real world, like, is there an indicator of that? Like a line that's like, oh, you're 5 meters away. I don't think there's anything like that. I've been playing this game for a year, unless I'm abnormally blind, right? I hate when they do that. Anyway, so yeah, deals damage equal to 200% of user attack. This isn't bad. I may actually invest in this, and the reason why we're looking at the runes is because I will probably produce a mythic rune. I have not pushed any runes to mythic. In fact, I'm sitting on my my stash of the selectors too, and the reason why is because there's so many freaking runes that it's like it's almost overwhelming when they all go up another rarity. So that's part of the reason why. One thing I'll tell you is I'm probably not going to grab any of these bottom row ones because they're either like outdated or power crept. They're not necessary. Crushing Blow, once upon a time, back when we used to be fighting Vulcan, was extremely strong. Or multi-strike Water Rune, excuse me, not Crushing Blow. Vertical Slash or Arts here, Water Rune. Increased damage dealt to targets in the break state. That's not the worst. Just thinking about opportunities to break. It's just Yogumunt, right? It's legit just Yogumunt. And he doesn't even regenerate the gauge. He just does the stupid like, oh, the boss is going to use a powerful move, break him, right? Like that's all he does. So I don't know if you need that. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't think that you need that. This Cutting Rush never really was all that, just because it's neutral, right? Like it's always neutral. It's one that I think in theory is cool. This one's one that gives you the shield. Yeah, I like this one. Really what happens with some of these though, admittedly, is it turns into what do you have the rarity on anyway, because they got buffed a long time ago to have the higher damage modifier. So if you've got the rarity, like this one's at 3,500 and it hits what, a handful of times. Oh no, that's not that one. It's the next one, the Mutilate one. Anyway, yeah, it gets a shield. That could be useful. Could be useful. Yeah, I'm just looking for another water DPS. Freezing deals damage you could afford it. The only thing with doing freezing and stuff is that there's a cooldown for that type of stuff. This was particularly annoying back when we used to use like more like Namche Young and stuff. I guess it's not as big of a deal anymore, but it does still matter for the Thetis Grimoire. All that freezing repeatedly is not possible. There's a cooldown. But this one may be solid. The Frostbite effect is strong. Yeah, that one may be solid. Wasn't this Mutilate? Vital Strike. Oh no, yeah, that's Mutilate. Okay. Yeah. So maybe I'll work on this and then the other one, the Mutilate one. Those may be the ones but like the Frostbite or the shield one, excuse me, is really strong. For 10 seconds, you get a for 12 seconds, you get a shield equal to 10% of your HP. That's actually low-key really good. So we'll see what I do. In terms of Blessing Stones, I don't think I've ever seen this menu before. I've never ever seen this like laid out like this. Is this new? Like I've never seen it laid out because I always just go back to the Sung Jinu page. I swear to you, I've never seen this. Anyway, this one's kind of one where it's like, what setup are you running? I haven't decided for the water setup in particular, but I know for wind, I like to use some combination of the ones I already have on. I'm teetering on pushing weakness detection up though. I've been wanting to save that and see if any of these new ones would be really good. We Are One is also really strong, but you have to be using the full team to really get the most out of that, like a full synergistic team. Full water, full wind, you get my point. But yeah, it's some combination of those. Reawakening is also in the mix, but some combination of the ones I've already got equipped. Or weakness detection, maybe Boss Slayer would be the ones that I'd push, because I can create another mythic as well pretty soon. I should be able to push a mythic. I'm not worried about the survival ones. These ones are just they kind of just do their thing regardless. So I'll come back to those eventually. And the last thing, and this is more of like a minor thing, I guess, also gems. My gems are mostly fine. I don't really change my gems at this point. But this is more of like a minor-ish thing. The Armory. It's pretty easy to like not worry about, not think about all that stuff. I haven't unlocked 5 slots here, the new 5 slots, so I will be pushing these. Oh, 5,000? That's brutal. Was it always 5,000? God, that's brutal. I could have swore it was like 1,000 or 3,000. But yeah, I'll be unlocking these. I don't know if it's better to unlock those right now or to just push these to the new levels or to max level. Right, like I don't know if, because the stat gain is there, I don't know what the difference truly is, but I will consider my Armory and try to push it at least to 175. I think 175 to 200 if possible is a good place to be, but some of that's also just leveling up your weapons and all that stuff. So that's just all one big thing anyway. You just want to strengthen all these weapons and get them stronger to the point where they're pushing more power overall anyway. So it kind of just snowballs on itself just for you investing in it. But I think with all of that, we should be all right. Like there's not much else really you can do to prep. Like there's not really much more. That's all the ways you're really going to push your power higher. I don't really my strongest team, I think, is like 1.5. I don't really worry about maybe 1.6. I don't really worry about that all too much, but I will, for the first time in like 6 months, actually care about that now. So we're going to see how much power I can stack on to my characters between now and then. Like, so my girls are below 300. I'm going to see if I can get Shaw at least to 310, 315. That would be pretty nice. It's actually, though, to be fair, on these non-attack scalers, because attack just gives a little bit more, it's a little bit harder, I believe, to get them up, right? That's how that works. I wanted to go into the workshop and kind of gauge how hard would be. So what's the power jump? 250 to 270. Okay. 250 to 270. And then 200,000 more, basically. Yeah, like roughly. The high end isn't exactly 200, but roughly, let's just say 200,000 more than normal. 300, 5. Did they nerf these? Were these numbers this low? Jesus Christ, these numbers are low. Hello? What? I know once upon a time they nerfed this guy. Did they nerf this? I could have swore he was pushing 1 million. This is why I need to watch more streams. I'm sure they nerfed this. This doesn't even make sense. These numbers are really low. I could have swore he was closer to 1 million. Anyway, what happened here? Oh, this one actually didn't, like, oh no, it did. It jumped about 200. Okay. So I guess you can assume it'll push about 200 on Yogumunt. So where's he at for normal? I think he's at like 1 million. Oh, what's happening is I always freaking forget Deimos exists. That's what it is. I'm freaking forgetting Deimos. That's why I'm like, where's the gap in here coming from? Dude, I kid you not. This one was so uneventful for me. I forget Deimos exists. It's almost like a placeholder one. Like, it's so uneventful. And it's also because they have the same course. Like, why, for what reason would you ever go back and play Deimos anymore? Like, okay, maybe you need to play hard Deimos before you can play hard Yogumunt to farm a little bit, but like, for what reason, right? It's just like Vulcan. Why would I ever go back and play Vulcan? Anyway, once you move past that, anyway, to be clear, this one's 900 to 945. Ooh, there's a big jump there. Yeah, this one has big jumps between it. Okay, so this is where I'm thinking of Baron. Okay, this makes more sense. So this one jumps to 1.3. Okay, so that's what, 30-ish, 35-ish. I'm missing a 0, but you know my point. Okay, so with that being the case, yeah, he's gonna push like 1.5. Okay, so yeah, your team needs to be like 1.5 to 6 in this. And I think that's just for you to be in the white, right? Like, you're gonna have to be stronger than that to be in the blue. I don't know how much stronger than that you can realistically get. I saw that the strongest team power is like 2 million, but how much stronger can you realistically get than this? It just requires so much investment into different things, right? So I don't know, but yeah, you need to have your team around 1.5. That's actually low-key kind of scary for the non-Genu one. Like, that's the Genu one is much easier one because it's easier because you could just have that extra 300, 400 from him. Right? Like, it's easier. All right, well, that's our prep guide and things we're going to be concerned about and thinking about as it pertains to overall worrying about hard mode Yogumunt and what we're going to be doing. So if there's anything I missed you guys think I should work on, please let me know. If there's any other progression path I didn't think about, like there's some alternative stuff I briefly mentioned, like gems, enhancing the artifacts with the books. Like there's some alternative stuff, but I don't think there's much else really to do. But lastly, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe, because if you watch the entirety of the video, you absolutely enjoyed it. I know you did. And 80% of viewers aren't subscribed, so make sure you stick around for more content. Thank you so much. I'll see you all later.